Sudhakarji, you mentioned about the algae on the top layer and all that. Your water coming to the pond, whatever the source, is highly contaminated with nitrate and phosphates. And in the presence of sunlight, algae will develop, number one. The only vegetation which can outcompete algae in photosynthetic efficiency is water hyacinth. 0 rupees, 0 chemical, 0 machinery. But water hyacinth will grow so much, so fast, that within 45 days, your entire pond surface area will be covered. And that is where the pond will start smelling. So NASA advocates that the 60% of the surface water can be covered with water hyacinth and not beyond. Then you have to remove it to the 30%. 30% coverage must be left with water hyacinth, or else the treatment will not be efficient. Straight away, you drive along the roadside and wherever you find some water hyacinth in a pond in nature, ask few boys to pick up water hyacinth and just introduce it to the pond. Things will be fine, number one. Now coming to the reverse bore and all that. Sir, you are sitting on a time bomb. Kaprada has 3,000 millimeters of rain. Kaprada is near Valsad, South Gujarat. And surface water, if introduced into the tube well water or open well water, the most common infection is giardiasis and cryptosporidium, which cannot be easily eliminated by medical treatment. Your strainer and cloth and SS jali and all that, even Vijay Raji said, will be of no help. Please don't do that. The reverse bore is the best invitation to the students' health issues. And I can see some of the hostels totally empty someday, because it will not infect 1 or 2 students, it will infect all the inhabitants. Number 3, the E. coli that Vijay Raji mentioned, they are our friends. E. coli is not a pathogen. E. coli can be a good host to the viruses, pathogenic viruses. But if those viruses are not introduced to E. coli, I have E. coli in my colon, you have, each one of us have E. coli with us. So E. coli has 96 strains. E. coli is a very loose word and far more loosely used by engineers in water treatment area. Number 3, some of our terraces, Sudhakar Raoji very added a very valuable point that first rain should be flushed off. But still there can be some bats and other birds and their feces on the terrace would contaminate water. And encephalitis that was rampant once in India, the bat excreta was the source. So recharging and reverse boring, and please don't do that. Because you are not doing pathogenic testing for every sample that goes into the tube well. Maybe today we conduct a test which can declare it safe. But any amount of rain after a week can have serious consequences. I'm not taking you into the pathology of safe drinking water. UNICEF is still fighting for safe drinking water. They call it safe drinking. Water is safe. We have overlooked some stages where some contamination takes place and that renders it dangerous. I'm sorry, my reflections may be somewhat discouraging, but you can stop reverse boring with immediate effect. Someday it can arise certain legal issues that you will never come out of. I don't know. I mean, I salute your commitment and labor and all the pipeline and all your force, your team is doing the work. But microbes will not discriminate. I have seen cases in Dharampur hostel teachers. For 6 months, their giardiasis and some of having cryptosporidium could not be treated in spite of intensive treatment. If you go to Kaprada in May end or first week of June, entire general hospital is empty. There is not a single bed occupied. But after the first rain in 10th or 12th of June, around, if you go into the third week of June, the hospital is flooded with children. In intravenous and fluid and all that, it is on the aisles. So what you said, esophagus, that's not true. If my body is desiccated, the doctor will not give me drinking water. He will put the intravenous saline. So whatever logic that you have worked with, that shows your sincerity. But it needs to be scientific. Your water getting here and then down, that's not true. If there is saline is given to my hand, it will be given here and then it will regenerate my body, hydrate my body. I'm sorry, sir, but I want to raise a caution for you. I don't, with all this hard labor, I don't want you to end up in a very serious trouble for yourself and for the children for whom you are doing such a wonderful work. Thank you.